Good morning, grade 5 students. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to continue our reading story at the beach. I want you please to open your reading books on pages 184 and 185 to follow up with me. We're going to read together the two pages 184 and 185. The objective of these two pages is that you will be able to use background knowledge to create sensory images from the events in the story. Sensory imagery. Sensory imagery explores the 5 human senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. Describing how something tastes, smells, sounds, or feels, not just how it looks, makes a passage come alive. Using sensory imagery with information from the text helps a reader create more vivid and mental picture of what is happening. This means when reading a text, you can create a sensory image by using your senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. Let's read these examples of sensory images to have a clear idea about how to create your own sensory image. Sight: the muddy boots were piled on top of the rug. 2. Hearing: the buzzing sound filled up the air. 3. Taste: one bite of the sour lemon caused my lips to pucker. 4. Touch: the mud felt slippery and cold between my toes. 5. Smell: her perfume smelled like flowers and vanilla. So creating a sensory image by using the 5 senses might make reading much more interesting and easier. The reader will draw an image of what he or she is reading to understand the passage more. The title of our story is At the Beach. The genre of our story is realistic fiction. Realistic fiction deals with characters and actions that seem real but comes from the author's imagination. The events in it could actually happen in real life. I want you please to open your books on page 182 and take a few minutes to preview the story and predict what the story is about. And when you're done, play this video again to continue. Since I asked you to predict what might the story be about, I want you please while reading to check whether your predictions are correct or not. As discussed previously, I told you that when you encounter or when you face an unfamiliar word, the easiest way to find out the meaning of this word is to use contextual clues. Let's see the unfamiliar words in the text, page 184. In the first paragraph, number 1, balmy. It's found in the second line, and it's an adjective. It means refreshing, soft, and soothing. Example: I remember those evenings well when I was a young boy, those balmy nights before a trip. Balmy nights, it means refreshing nights or soothing nights. Number 2, aroma. It's found in the third line, and it's a noun that means smell. Example: the aroma made me feel very hungry. The spicy aroma made me feel very hungry. Number 3, waft, and it's found in the fourth line. It's a verb that means to be driven or carried along. Example: the aroma of mom's cake would waft through the house. Unfamiliar words in the second paragraph. Number 4. Dawn. It's found in the second line, and it's a noun. The first appearance of light in the morning. Sentence or example: I was awakened at the crack of dawn by the sounds of laughter. Number 5. Hungry. It's found in the fourth line. It's a noun and a Spanish word that means rice and black beans. Example: the iron kettle was filled with my aunt's delicious congee. Unfamiliar words in the text, page 185. Number 1. Clutter. It's found in the fifth line. Clutter is a noun that means a crowded collection of something. Example: no one cared that we children had to squeeze into the back along with the clutter of pots and plates. Number 2. Scurried. It's found in line 12, and it's a verb. Moved quickly and in a hurry. Example: we laughed at the frightened hens that scurried in every direction at the sight of our car. Number 3. Tempting. It's found in line 15, and it's an adjective. Highly attractive. Example: the growing heat made the aroma of mom's tortilla more tempting. We'll be reading these two pages together, so I want you please to open your books on page 184 and follow up with me. I remember those evenings well when I was a young boy in Cuba. Those balmy island nights before a trip to Guanabo Beach. The spicy aroma of tortilla española that mommy had left to cool would waft through the house as I lay in my bed. But I was always too excited to sleep. All I could think about was the soft white sand, the warm foamy water, and mommy's delicious tortilla. Oh, a day at the beach. It was full of possibilities. One Saturday in May, I was awakened at the crack of dawn by sounds of laughter. My aunts, Rosa and Olga, had arrived with hammocks, blankets, and an iron kettle filled with Aunt Rosa's steaming congee. And best of all, they had arrived with my cousins, Louisa, Mary, and little Javy. Uncle Tony had come too. After reading page 184, let's answer the question below. From what you have read so far, visualize Cuba, the setting. Is this like or unlike where you live? From the pages we have read, the author described Cuba vividly and used many sensory details which helped me feel as if I were in Cuba. Guanabo Beach is in Cuba, where the story took place, is a very hot place, and the warmth of the sand would burn my feet, in addition to the smell of the fish. This is unlike where I live, since in Bikar we don't have beaches and the weather in this place is moderate and cool. When we were ready to leave, Papi, the only one in the family who owned a car, packed his Ford Woody wagon with the 9 of us. No one cared that we children had to squeeze into the back along with the clutter of pots and plates, food and bags, towels and blankets and hammocks. Soon the engine turned and the car rumbled down the road into the rising sun. Along the way, we drove past sugarcane fields and roadside markets. My cousins and I shouted warnings to the barking dogs and laughed at the frightened hens that scurried in every direction at the sight of our car. It seemed like a long time until the cool morning breeze that blew into the windows turned warm, and the growing heat made the aroma of Mommy's tortilla all the more tempting. "Lick your skin, Fernando," my older cousin Luisa told me. "If it tastes salty, that means we'll be there any time now." She was right. My skin tasted salty, and soon, almost magically, the turquoise ocean appeared as we rounded a bend in the road. Papi pulled into the familiar dirt lot and parked under the pine trees. While the grown-ups unloaded the car, we eagerly jumped out and ran toward the sea, peeling off our clothes along the way. Referring back to the passage that we have read, let's see these questions. What was the drive to the beach like for Fernando and his cousins? The car packed with 9 people and the children squeezed with pots, pans, food, towels, and other beach equipment. No one cared about them. It means they were really happy and excited, even though it was a mess. They were happy with the barking dogs and the scurrying hens. Who do you think is telling the story? What do you know about this character and the other characters? Who do you think is telling the story? Exactly, Fernando. Fernando is telling the story. I can tell that Fernando is surrounded by his family and loves to go to the beach. They were really excited and happy to go and spend the day at the beach. Your assignment for Monday, April 27th, 2020 is to read pages 184 and 185. I want you please to answer the following questions using background knowledge to create sensory images and then write them down on your reading copybooks. Number 1. How would sand feel between your toes? Number 2. How would warm, foamy ocean water look and feel? Number 3. How would a tortilla taste and smell? The answers are found in page 184, and don't forget to use sensory images. Review the unfamiliar words discussed in this video and use them in meaningful sentences on your reading copybooks. Finally, review the vocabulary words related to this story. Thank you and have a good day.